Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 320. Life is like a box of macros. Hey, Forrest. For September 13th, 2024, from Zenatta Consulting, I am Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Friday the 13th. You believe in that stuff, Tyler?
Absolutely. Quaking in my boots. I know something bad's going to happen tomorrow.
I don't know.
And you know me to be the very superstitious type, so yeah, it fits.
Broken mirrors, salt over the shoulder, all that kind of crazy superstitions from the past. You know? I don't know. I wonder what that came from. Some things are interesting. Like, where did things come from? You know,
you track them back in time.
Where did Zoho come from? You never know. You know, I had fun this week. I went out and flew out to the Pleasanton and Zoho headquarters and got to meet with Vijay and Connor, and they had the number one Zoho partner from Japan flew in, their executive team, met with them, had really nice meetings with those guys, and then they flew in 140 clients and prospects. They're on this tour. It's crazy. All these tour buses pull up, and they're taking these guys on a tour of like all of the tech companies they work with. So they work with Zoho, they work with Google, they work with Apple, and they were touring them all around. So we're going to do $10,000 a head.
It's a good business model.
Yeah. So everybody who's on our mailing list, be ready. There's an email coming. Tyler and I are going to do a little bus tour, take you around. Go to Dialpad and we'll go up to Shopify, go up to Canada, visit their headquarters. Let's go all over the place. It'll be fun. Anyway, it was a good time. Anyway, thanks for everybody over at Zoho. We had a really great seeing everybody up there. Tyler, we got a little bit of slow news week, but we do have a lot of cool stuff to cover. So I guess we should just get right on into it.
Let's do it.
All right. First, a commercial.
We're not lost. Well, did you use Zenatta's Google Address AutoComplete for Zoho CRM extension? What? It's an extension on the Zoho Marketplace for Zoho CRM. It allows you to update your leads, contacts, and accounts address fields using Google Maps address database. That way, you know for sure that your addresses are accurate and valid. It even shows you a map of the address's location. I don't need some widget to check my addresses. That's what my Mind Palace is for. Besides, they probably upcharge you on Google credits, so I end up paying for someone else's CRM with 1 million contacts. Actually, the extension allows you to create your own Google Maps API key, so you only pay for the credits you use. Oh yeah? Well then this Zenatta, or whatever you call them, they probably gouge you on the subscription plan. Yeah, make you pay for everyone who wants to use it. Actually, it's Zenatta, and the extension works for your whole organization for one monthly price. Or you can pay annually and save even more. Wow. How do you know so much about the Google Address AutoComplete for Zoho CRM extension? Oh, easy. I follow Zenatta Consulting on YouTube, as well as my favorite choice of podcast app. Well, okay. Let's head back to the office and make sure we get the address right this time. And you know what? I'm sorry I got so snippy with you earlier. You know, I've always considered you to be a good... Look out! Google Address AutoComplete for Zoho CRM by Zenatta. Download on the Zoho Marketplace today.
Greg, we just let you be free and easy with your advertising. Listen, we let him use his creative side to get out there and explore possibilities. Great ad. All right, everybody, let's get right on into the news. You said, hey, announcing Zoho DataPrep 2.0. That sounds familiar. It is because back in June, this was out in beta, but it is now officially out. So this is basically an application that allows you to clean up your data prior to import, prior to kind of, doing things you might want to do with it. You've got a whole bunch of data. You want to clean it up, dedupe it, normalize it, those kind of things. This actually makes it much easier to do that. I know, Tyler, we don't use it much, but it does have a lot of great applications.
Yeah, and I think this 2.0 update might be the type of thing that puts it over the edge where we probably want to circle back and work it into more processes. The Two things I'll call out here that I really like are I like the visual pipeline builder. When you're working on a flow of data from a variety of apps into Zoho, you oftentimes think about it like a pipeline, right? We're going to get this raw data. We're going to join it with another data table. We're going to make a pivot, and then we're going to use that to sync into CRM or some other application. And one of the trickiest things about those is just keeping everything straight, right? And making sure that like you're following that appropriate order of operations. So being able to visualize it as a pipeline is really nice. The other thing that I do like that they've added are webhook triggers or workflow triggers that you can send out as part of those pipelines. Really, that type of thing would primarily be used, at least in my head, for like error monitoring. Like, hey, we tried to get the data from QuickBooks Desktop. Something went wrong. Somebody needs to know about that. And when we write code, we normally do that, right? And that's one of the benefits of doing it with code. But if DataPrep can handle some of that error logging and reporting natively without requiring Deluge script, really nice. So it's definitely one of those ones that we'll probably want to double back to and maybe consider using a bit more, just because it does have a ton of different connectors. It handles ETL data pretty well, which we try not to work with, but sometimes you have to. And being able to visualize everything out in that pipeline view is really nice. The one thing I'll also point out with this update that seems like they've sneakily added that they didn't actually mention here is that if you have DataPrep and you have Zoho Analytics, so like in our account, we have this, you can actually use that little data pipeline visualizer in Analytics itself, which again, if you're very versed in SQL, right, you spend a lot of time writing SQL script, you might not need that. But one of the biggest challenges in analytics is the learning curve, where a lot of the times you run into a dead end where you just need to join a table or you need to run a union or do some type of operation. And those who aren't as versed in SQL, that could be a dead end, right? Where it's like, dang, I can't get the report I want unless I either hire someone to write SQL code or learn it myself. So having that embedded within analytics is actually really cool. And I'm probably going to play around with that a bit in our account here over the next week or two and just see what types of processes it might be able to shortcut a little for us.
Nice. Very, very cool. All right. And moving right along with the updates, you can now update and upsert records in Zoho Books using unique custom fields. I put this under the I thought you could already do that, probably because you can do it in CRM. So basically what this means is that you've got your basic unique fields you can always basically identify a record. You've got the record ID, oftentimes you've got email, you've got these various things that are unique to the record that Zoho predefines. And then you have the ones where you make your own unique field, and you want that to be an identifier that you can update records on, upsert them, do those kind of things as well. And so evidently you were unable to do that in Zoho Books, and now you can, and can do API, and so very, very nice.
Yeah, and this is a sneaky little quality of life improvement for developers. It's actually pretty significant, because what this means is previously, let's say you're going to create an order from another platform, and maybe you don't have like a Zoho sales order ID in that platform. Right. You would have to make two API calls. One to find it using your unique identifier that's not the Zoho ID, and then a second one to update it using the Zoho ID that you just found. One of the challenges with Zoho Books and Inventory, especially for like larger customers, is the API limits. They're on the lower side in terms of Zoho applications. And so you're actually like cutting that process in half, right? Where now I'm just using one API call. I'm running directly to that update endpoint rather than having to do a search, then an update. So there's a nice little efficiency thing, really, where like you're going to need to run less code in your other application where you might be paying for credits there. And you're going to reduce the API usage on the Zoho side. So nice update. Again, won't matter for everybody, but for the nerds in the room doing some of these types of development actions, huge little quality of life boost.
Huge. Yep. Very, very nice. Also on the quality of life side, over on Zoho Desk, you can now move tickets to a specific layout within a department using macros. So if you have a ticket comes in, maybe it goes over to this department, that's the wrong department. You now basically can easily move it based on rules to the proper department, and based upon your user permissions and those kind of things as well. So this had to be a specific request. But it is a nice one, actually. I think so.
I think the driver here is because you could always do the move action in a ticket and move it to a different department. The nice thing with macros is that they can do multiple things at once. So I could like move it to another department and send an email, or move it to a department and trigger a custom function with one button click. And really the way to think about macros in Desk, like in CRM, you have macros and you have custom buttons that run scripts. In Desk, macros is like the one-stop shop. They're buttons, they're traditional macros. They do a lot of work for you. So being able to do the move department action is really nice. Probably just saves a click for a lot of people, where rather than like triggering some function, then moving it, just do it in one step.
Yeah. Nice job, Zoho Desk team. And moving right along, Zoho Inventory got a bunch of updates through July and September. They are all put together in this one blog post. The key ones, Tyler, it seems to me, scanning through here, is that bin locations, and everybody seems to be very excited about the fact you now actually have bin locations. I haven't been in inventory in a long time. I just would have assumed that was there, but I guess not. That seems to be one that everybody's happy. We'll talk about that. Stock counts, which is crazy. This is for the mobile app, but you now have, you can actually do stock counts before. I guess you couldn't do that. And then some enhanced barcode templates. Those seem to be the big ones that people are excited about. You said that the bins, we might want to hold off on being too excited about bins.
I need to circle back on it. So I attempted to record a tip video on it back when it was in the early access beta phase. And I did run into some issues just around like odd little things. Like, so you had a location, I had a couple bins within it. I go to assign stock to a bin, and rather than saying bin 1, bin 2, bin 3 as options, it just had one option that said bin 1, bin 2, bin 3, just like mushed together. That could have just been that I didn't do my homework first, right? So don't take this as any indictment on bin locations. I need to circle back to it, but they'll just need to be set up in very particular ways, I think, to get people what they want. But they are there now, and you can allocate stock to them. They do apply for your pick lists, kind of across the board. Stock counts is another sneakily useful one. We have actually had to build people creator apps to do that, just because it was not really supported in any meaningful way. Like, your two options before were basically everybody fills out a spreadsheet and then we import it as an inventory adjustment, or we make you a creator app, right? And like, creator app works great. You can do a lot of cool stuff in there, but it feels like overkill, right? Just to like run a little stock count once a month. So having that baked in, I mean, it seems like A1 type of functionality for an inventory management tool. So definitely happy to see that getting added there to inventory.
Yeah, very, very, very nice. And talk to me about this. There's a JSON. You can now bulk download e-invoices in JSON format. What's the purpose of this?
Yeah, so essentially what this is when you are, let's say you have like a third-party tool, you could think about like maybe Bill.com or some type of other platform where you might be managing invoices. Certain tools just prefer imports as JSON data rather than like a CSV file. So this just basically solves for allowing you to pull it out in a new format that you might require for certain tools that you are managing your invoices in. So nice one. This is one of those ones you say sometimes. This is one that I bet there was a big customer who was like, we really, really need this. And on Zoho's side, funny enough, like this is actually probably easier than making a CSV export. So they went, yeah, great. We'll add a button that does that. Like, because in the background, when you run an export, it probably exports in JSON and then they turn it into a CSV for you. So nice little update. I think most people probably won't ever need that. But if you do, it saves you from having to do something weird, like run a CSV through some JSON converter or like write a script that does this. So again, kind of a niche functionality, but one that will make certain people very, very happy.
Very nice. All right, moving right along. So over in Zoho Show, they are introducing diagrams, and I was scratching my head going, Microsoft PowerPoint has a name for this, and it's Smart Art. So if you're familiar with Smart Art over in basically PowerPoint, you will know what diagrams are. The announcement over here in the blog is very short, but they do have a link, and if you go into the link, kind of give you an idea what you're looking at here. So you're basically choosing your diagram or your smart art. You've got basically lists and processes and pyramids and cycles, the standard things, all the things you're used to seeing over in PowerPoint. And you can now choose how many levels you want to do. They're giving you a pyramid example here. Format how you want the pyramid to be, put all your descriptions in. So very, very nice. This is one of those things that in the presentation tools, kind of a gotta have. I honestly wasn't aware it wasn't here. I thought so, but I guess it wasn't. So big ad. Very, very nice. So kudos to the entire Zoho Show team. And Tyler, that's going to wrap it up. With that, let's get over to our implementation of the week.
All right, so implementation this week was built out by Maya and Renato on our consulting and development teams. This is basically a little CRM handoff coming from Zoho Desk for tickets that are related to sales. So in this case, our client takes in a wide variety of tickets. Some of them are about support. Some of them are about requests for new services. Some might be a change to an existing service that's being provided. And some of those tickets just end up needing to be transferred over to the sales team so that the appropriate person who's kind of assigned to that account might be able to put together an estimate or potentially a change order and shoot that over to the client. Now, in this case, we have done ones before where, you press a button in a desk ticket and it reaches over and creates a deal record. In this case, it's a little different because they may already have a deal that's running for this particular request. And in that case, we'd want to do a change order. So what we set up here is that when a ticket is closed and that type is assigned as quote or sales, we'll go ahead and run a little script that will write a task record over to Zoho CRM and link it up to the appropriate contact and account and assign it to that account owner, which would be like the most responsible person for that particular client. This task essentially just prompts the user to either create a new deal if this is a new opportunity, or start a change order process if it is a change to an existing engagement that they have running with that client. One important little note here is that we kind of combine that workflow with what Zoho Desk calls a layout rule, where when that status gets closed for this particular type of ticket, we actually require a certain set of data that allows that salesperson to know what's going on and take action on the ticket, so that ideally they will know if they're dealing with a new sale or if they're dealing with a change order before they have to make a deal or make any types of records. They can just open up that task, they get the summary of what's going on, and then they can proceed accordingly without having to leave CRM and go over to Desk and actually view any of the back and forth or comments over there. So this is another one of those ones. We do a lot of work in this space just around connecting these baseline applications a little bit more across the Zoho suite. What you'll find a lot of the times is that the baseline integrations like CRM and Desk, CRM and Books, they give you that core sync of like contact and account data and some of the visibility on both sides. But then you look to layer on top of that some of those unique workflows and automations that really make it work for you, rather than just using that default process.
Very, very nice. Every week you have to dig for a new implementation, Tyler. But we always
I try to keep them fresh.
Off.
I know we've definitely done Desk to CRM transfers a few different ways, shapes, and forms. So this topic will be retired for a bit, but I do my best not to reuse topic areas. It just gets tricky as we're on episode? Many. Done so many.
I don't know where. By the way, Freddie reminded us before the show, but the Desk macro news story we just covered, Greg has a tip coming out for that in a couple weeks as well. So We'll keep doing them. Anyway, moving right along, let's head over to Club Zenatta and look at our code share of the week. A very, very, very popular implementation that we do all of the time is someone will have maybe a third-party application, or they will want to pull something into the CRM. It's going to be a related list, and rather than creating a whole separate custom module where the data lives, we're basically leaving where it is, and we're pulling in what we call an XML related list. It's basically a list of items from wherever we are pulling that in from, so you can display those. This is really helpful. Real-world example is you are using QuickBooks, you're not using Zoho Books, and you want salespeople to be able to see a list of all of the invoices related to a particular account inside of QuickBooks and whether or not they're paid or not, what the status of those invoices is. So you can readily display that, but that doesn't allow you to click through. It's basically just giving you a static list being pulled from a specific application. And in this case, though, what maybe you're doing that, but you actually would like it to be more dynamic, and you would like to associate a clickable URL with that item that is listed in the related list. That is not trivial. And so Andrew is showing you how to go through and do it.
Yep. Yeah, and really the thing here with these lists, they're really great because, as you would imagine, like syncing a list of invoices between two systems, while totally possible, just requires some development work and a lot of auditing and a lot of double checking and triple checking, where this XML list is saying, hey, let's not sync it, keep the data where it is, we'll just reference it, right, and bring it in. But to Brett's point, a lot of the times you might go, okay, that's cool, I can see the invoice number and I can see that it's been paid. What if I want to see the invoice, though, and look at all the items that are on it, right? Add a link, do this URL encoding, and then just include that in your related list. And now you've avoided, again, that idea of syncing all of that data back and forth between the tools. I think the main reason that we wrote this one up is just that doing URL encoding inside of XML is kind of annoying. So this is just a shortcut that will work pretty universally for essentially any link that you want to display. And hopefully, again, like we always like to imagine, save someone from banging their head into the keyboard trying to get this to work starting from scratch.
Super nice. Want to thank Andrew for putting that together. If you don't know, Club Zenatta is our online community. We would love for you to come on over and join our community and basically just, participate in everything that's going on over here. So we've got all kinds of people, over 2,000 users asking questions, getting answers. So come on in and join us and join the community. You can also ask us questions. We keep track of all the news that's going on. All of that is over here. So head on over to club.zenatta.com and join that. Join the community. We'd love to have you. And with that, let's head over to zenatta.com, our own website, and see what our blog of the week is. Zoho Sign. Someone was talking to me about Zoho Sign the other day, Tyler. Where is it? It has moved all the way up into the recommended category. It's one that we're very, very comfortable with. It is they solved for a lot of the user permission issues. They keep adding more features to it. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic application.
Drawback. That was always what kept it out of that yes category, is just the ability to create permissions. And the system they added, it's a little clunky at first as you're learning how it works, but it can get you any type of permission set that you need.
Absolutely. And so, hey, if you are saying, should I use Zoho Sign or should I use any of the other ones, DocuSign, Adobe Sign, HelloSign, PandaDoc, Sign Now, EverSign, we're breaking them down. We're comparing them all. We're taking you through each and every one of them. And so you will, this is kind of if you want to know what the differences are and should you use it, should you not, this will maybe guide you on your way there. I will tell you that I think for 95% of all businesses out there, if they're using Zoho Sign is going to get it done for them. Really just kind of does everything that they need it to do. So well worth checking out. And while you're at our website, if you're at Zenatta, then go over and check out our resource library. This is where we keep track of all of Zoho applications, whether or not you should use them. We rate them definitely, probably, maybe, kind of break them down. And if you click into any one of them, you will see all of the content and tutorials and tips and everything that we have created for that particular application. So head on over to Zenatta.com, check out our resource library, join Club Zenatta, and we'll love to, hopefully you will find it exceptionally useful. With that, Tyler, let's head on over to our YouTube channel and check out our tip of the week. What have you got for us now, Tyler?
Yeah, so over on the YouTube channel, put together a quick video on Zoho Bigin and using their team pipelines functionality. This is honestly what I would say is like the special sauce within Bigin, just the ability to really easily create pipeline views either from scratch or from templates. And they've got like 30 or 40 templates in there now of different processes that you can just easily deploy and then kind of make adjustments to. So I go through creating one from scratch, creating one from a template, and then also setting up like a pipeline conversion, right? So like if we move to closed one in the sales pipeline, we want to create what they call a connected record in the onboarding pipeline. And all of that can just be done via workflow automation. So just kind of a quick one for the Bigin users out there, just kind of running through those core steps and processes to set this up and build that automated flow so that you don't have to manually start an onboarding process when a deal gets closed won. So hopefully everyone finds this one useful. Pretty doesn't require a lot of technical knowledge at all when you're working with Bigin, so should be pretty straightforward for anybody to set up in their own system.
Very nice. If you don't know, Bigin is Zoho's simpler CRM. Is that the better way to put it? It's more like a pipe drive, like Kanban-driven type of CRM. It has gotten much more powerful over time. And so they've added more features. They've added more integrations. They've done a lot with it. So if you, I'm still trying to figure out the impetus for the creation of Bigin, where it came from, but it is a great mobile application as well. And so there's a lot of really interesting features. Oftentimes we'll see people, they've got the base Zoho CRM is the big workhorse that the internal organization uses. The salespeople, if they're in the field, are using Bigin. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with it. So you can check that out as well. All right. And with that, if you don't know, if you head over to our YouTube channel, well, that is where all of these videos live there and in our resource library as well. And we would love it if you would like and subscribe to our channel. Coming up on 20,000 users here, one video away from 700, Tyler.
Wow. Time flies.
Time. We are. So anyway, head over to youtube.com/Zenatta. That's where we keep everything. Please do subscribe to our channel. Hopefully you will find it useful. Evidently 19,300 and some odd people do. So keep on keeping on over there. Anyway, Tyler, another show's in the bag, baby.
Yep, another week down. Looking forward to next week. We'll be actually meeting up out in Lake Tahoe. So have a couple days off, do some work, do a little bit of relaxation, and then we'll get back to it to get into Q4.
And this was episode 320, is that right?
320.
So we said. So in 100 episodes, we're just going to have to get high, dude. Be episode 420. We should plan for that now. That's less than 2 years away.
Should. I know.
We'll
be there.
Both living in states where it's legal, man. You're in Colorado. I'm in Las Vegas.
Colorado and Vegas.
That's right. Freddie's show title for 420, Shake and Bake. All right. Remember that? Let's get that down now. Start collecting things for that. But, anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show. As always, if you want to reach Tyler and I, or Josh or Jordan or anybody over at the Zenatta team, you'd like to talk to us about how we can help you with your Zoho implementation, please head over to Zenatta.com and click on Book a Meeting.
On the website is also where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, as always, we appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Peace out, everybody. 100 episodes to go till the big one. Hang